Oh no, Spaghetti-O! The first frost of the year. Saturday, 27th of April, come with me. The day in the life of running a tropical fish store. But with a twist. Not a single second I spent in my shop today. We went over to Picton and we went over to a place called Loch Mara. It started with a boat trip over. Anytime I'm on a boat, I always get this real weird feeling of apprehension and what's underneath and how deep the water is and how powerful it is and all that kind of stuff. The water is so encompassing and there's so much of it in the world. It's just, you kind of don't realize until you're sitting on top of it how powerful it is and how deep it is and how intense it is. But that pretty quickly changed about this point here. I was like, wow, kind of feels like we're on a boat ride into Lake Malawi. Not that I've been to Lake Malawi, but this is kind of what I would expect it to feel like. A few little islands and stuff like this. This is down the Marlborough Sounds, by the way. Yes, it sort of felt like what I would expect it to be like going into Lake Malawi. And after that kind of feeling, I looked up and had a wee look around, and it almost felt like I was going into Jurassic Park, if that makes sense. It's quite hard to express the views, but this gave me a real Jurassic Park type vibe. We're going to boat ride in as opposed to a helicopter ride in, but we're checking out all this amazing scenery into this whole little cavern of a world that's not really known. Obviously it is known, if that makes sense. Anyway, pulled up in the boat when we got there, and the whole water area was full of jellyfish. These are harmless, they won't sting you, they won't hurt you, but there are so many. And I also found this awesome mosaic of, I don't know, fishy stuff, which I thought was pretty fantastic as well. It's pretty hard not to take a video of anything fish related or aquatic related because, you know. So we got there, walking through the forest, and this panga person just sort of popped up as we were waiting for our trip to what we were doing. So there's quite a few of these panga people hanging around. Climbed a little bit of the hill, not too much, and just got a wee bit of a view here. So the first thing we're about to go and do is go into this observatory here, which was really cool. We'll get some videos of that soon. And had a wee check out of some of the things around the place. I'm not doing very well describing this place. Honestly, it was fantastic and phenomenal. Yeah, the breathtaking scenes and the scenery in the forest around the place was ridiculously cool. Then there was a helicopter turn up. I'm pretty sure that I heard someone say that Tom Cruise turned up or was being picked up, which I thought was pretty fantastic. So if there's any sightings of Tom Cruise and Picton, please let me know. First part of our day trip as we went and played in this touch tank. Fundamentally, I'm not the biggest fan of touch tanks, but everyone enjoyed it. There was some really cool stuff there, and I thought it was really well laid out. It was good, really good size, continued to pump water from one end to the other from the ocean. Then we got onto the boat, which is the observatory, and as you can see here, there's a whole bunch of fish hanging around it, which I thought was really cool. Lots and lots of those jellyfish as well. I think the lady said that there was yellow jackets, kawa, and a few other bits and pieces. I'm not that skilled up when it comes to saltwater fish, particularly New Zealand ones. Jellyfish from underneath the water, and this I believe was a snapper from underneath the water as well. It's pretty hard to record this. We're under a boat that they've turned into like an observatory, which is really cool. Doesn't go anywhere, and they've made their own man-made reef, which is incredibly exciting, incredibly cool. So it's some pretty good views down there. All the fish swimming around it, which I thought was pretty phenomenal. And they've called it the Reef Project, so there's a few bits and pieces about it throughout the place, which was cool. As we were going, you know, talking with the lady that was running the guide, the tour, when we're in the touch tank area, I was asking what are the chances of seeing a stingray, and she's like, oh, they're getting a bit less common at this time of the year, so maybe once or twice a week they'll turn up, and today just happened to be our lucky day. So there was an eagle ray here, which the lady, I think her name was Demi, see, it isn't particularly common, so it was kind of cool to get a cool video of this eagle ray. This whole part here of the experience really blew me away and was just a total highlight for me. So we got the eagle ray here, which was just beautiful, and there was a couple of stingrays hanging around as well. So the eagle ray went up quite nice and high, so you got a really good view of it there. And then coming through here, the stingrays were coming in as well. So there was a couple of stingrays hanging around. This is the moment that really blew my mind. In New Zealand, we can't keep freshwater stingrays. There's no chance that we'll be able to keep them. But seeing one this close, although it was saltwater, I thought was pretty cool. And so the tour guide lady, or the lady that was running the this area with the touch tank, did some hand feeding. I thought that was an incredibly cool shot. So she was saying they're a bottom feeder, which I'm sure we're all aware of, and they all suck everything off the bottom. So obviously the mouth is on the bottom, so her hand actually had to go underneath it. But I thought that was ridiculously cool. So I can understand now why people have rays as pets. They're pretty cool. Like I said, we can't get them here in New Zealand, but that was just spectacular. They're all free to go. They can go in and out of the ocean. There's no dramas. They're not being held in cages or nets or anything like that. And so they're wild animals, but they are tame, obviously tame enough to hand feed, which is pretty spectacular. And there's the two of them there just cruising along the edge of the waterline. So that was absolutely fantastic, and I love that part of where we were. And then looked up, and there was a weka doing weckery things, just hanging around. So we've been here for maybe an hour and a half. About an hour's worth of that has been in the underwater observatory in the touch tank, and then seen this weka, which I thought was pretty cool. Did a little bit more of a rise up through the area. A few more of the views, which are beginning to get more and more spectacular. Still pretty early in the morning, it's about 11 o'clock or something like that. There's lots of sculptures and lots of art stuff around the place, which I think is pretty cool. If you've never been to this place, it's well and truly worthwhile going. There's all sorts of things to look at. I even had the helipad here, so this is where Tom Cruise either landed or departed. And it's the Lockmara Airport, which I thought was kind of amusing because you probably can't land any planes there. And they even had a Kori lounge, which again I thought was fairly amusing and fairly fantastic. That's the Kiwi spirit. Did a bit more walking around and found the Rock Mara band, which is pretty cool. Like I said, there's all sorts of random sculptures, lots of things to walk around, follow the map with, and a big dragonfly here above the roof of just another little map point, which I thought was pretty neat. Some more sculptures. I believe this is the sculpture of an eel, so it's pointing towards the eels from memory. This is the labyrinth. For once in my life, I actually read the instructions on something. When I entered it, I started thinking about things, and on the way out, I was thinking about different things. It was a really nice wee moment for myself personally, just to think about what's been happening, where we're going, all that kind of stuff. And then we found the BFG, well, half of the BFG. Looks like he was missing his boots and the rest of his body. And turns out we found his boots not that far away, but it looks like he's been stomping up and down the forest, which is kind of cool as well. And we found his boots just over there, just across the walkway. So again, there's all sorts of cool little bits and pieces that you can sort of find as you're walking through. Then I found this bee, looked like he was doing bee things, assuming taking sap off this tree. I'm not 100% sure, but it was kind of cool. Like I said, we're out in nature, seeing all the stuff and just bees and stuff hanging around and birds and all that kind of stuff. So really a great moment of clarity and getting the mind sort of clear, breathing some nice fresh air and seeing these cool sculptures and art that people have done. There's a big spider hanging from on a line, and then a couple of people just trying to climb their way up a hill, which I also thought was quite amusing. And if we pan up here, there's someone pulling them up. So just random things like that. I found this as part of the tour or part of the place. It's ridiculously hard to get into. I really struggled and it hurt to get up, but that's okay. I think this is pretty close to the peak of the top of the hill. Some absolutely spectacular views. By this point, life itself had just sort of disappeared and dissolved, and it was all about what was going on, what was around. Some gorgeous views out and over into the Marlborough Sounds. Honestly, this place is just spectacular. I don't think I can say that enough in this video. It's well and truly worthwhile. I found a Piwaka Waka, so incredibly hard to take videos of. Must be Piwaka Waka season because they're everywhere. And then this, they said, was the dodgy corporate ladder. Totally understand how that logic works. I found it amusing and said, do not climb. But it goes halfway up the hill. Just some more bits and pieces. And there was a green gecko in the gecko enclosure. Unfortunately, we couldn't see the tuataras, but they've got a couple of tuataras there at the moment as well. This is the moment that I also had my mind blown a little bit. The size of these eels is just insane. The eel enclosure they have is also ridiculously cool. We learned about the eels and what they're doing with them. They're coming into sexual maturity, so they're going to be released at some point. Hopefully they can breed, but look at how ginormous they are. Proper river monsters they are. I thought the enclosure was really spectacular cool as well. Gave you that full-on natural vibe just on the side of a riverway or a creek type of thing. And they are just ginormous. Can't get over how big these things are. Honestly, they are massive. And you'll see in a second as I pan through here exactly how big they are. Now, that's just a giant animal. Like, I can't get over how big they are. I knew eels got big, but man, that is a full-on river monster. They are huge. We probably, as society, need to do a little more work about trying to do some conservation work on them as well. And throughout the tour, or throughout the trip, you get the opportunity to hand feed some parrots. So I absolutely took that opportunity because birds are cool, and I'm not allowed birds. So that brings us to the end of this trip. Well and truly worth it. If you're anytime anywhere near the Marlborough Sounds, get amongst it. It is beautiful. It's called Lochmara Lodge. Have a good one, team. Happy fish keeping. Catch you later.